Yes, Goku is a hero. I feel like the prevalence of superheroes in media has caused a lot of people to forget what being a hero is. You could be a hero without acting like a superhero. While superheroes help as much as they can, often seeking out people in need and executing their own moral codes in the process, a hero can just be a person that does good when the opportunity to do good presents itself.
So if that's what a hero is, does Goku fit? Of course he does.
When the series first begins, Goku is the one to advocate for saving Turtle despite it not being something directly beneficial to himself. Remember when Goku was saved by a mouse, and in return he saved the mouse from a collapsing undersea cavern? That's not what most people would do, but he saw it as the good and right thing to do. As a kid, Goku is possibly at his most heroic when he puts aside his own quest for his grandfather's Dragon Ball in order to revive Appa's father, Bora. This is not just doing a basic good he can easily perform. It's an action that directly hinders him because the Dragon Balls scatter after a wish is made. It's important to remember that Goku hadn't trained with Master Karin at this point, so he wasn't nearly as fast as he would be by the end of the arc, meaning he didn't know he'd be able to grab the 4-star Dragon Ball before it scattered away until way later. This choice was entirely made at his own expense. Of course, this also leads to him taking out the entire Red Ribbon Army, an organization that he can identify as purely evil. But where did this desire to take down those who do evil even come from? Well, during his training with Master Roshi, Goku was taught to take out those who do evil in one mighty blast, a lesson that doesn't seem to sink in immediately, but manages to stick with him based on his actions going forward. Just look at how he handles Commander Black at the end of their fight. Commander Black is a bad guy, and Goku doesn't let bad guys get away.
The Red Ribbon Army arc also has this line, which usually shuts people up who treat Dragon Ball Z Abridged like it's canon.
Goku goes on to save the world from the Demon King Piccolo and his henchmen, something that fortune teller Baba foretold after first meeting him. He doesn't chase down Tambourine to have a good fight. He hunts him down to avenge Krillin and to eliminate evil. When facing a rejuvenated Demon King Piccolo, he isn't excited to see Piccolo's new power. He wants to beat him because of the bad things that he's done. When Goku wins, he isn't happy to have beaten a strong enemy. He actually cries because this victory means so little after the death and destruction that Piccolo caused. The fight may be over, but Master Roshi and Krillin will stay dead forever because Piccolo killed Shenron. This is even shown to be exactly what he's thinking about when he immediately asks Ten Shinhan if Shenron is actually dead. He fought for them, not for himself, and now that the fight is over, he finally gets his chance to grieve.
So Goku not only saved the world, but he fought for the sake of others and not himself? Yeah, that's pretty heroic to me.
This is where Goku's morality shift begins as he starts sparing villains for a few arcs, but that's a topic for a different video. If anything though, sparing villains is in line with a lot of superhero morality, but I will admit, Goku's reasons aren't always the most selfless. He spares Piccolo for a number of reasons, not wanting Kami to die, wanting to win the tournament, wanting a rival to keep him strong, and also because he saw a change in him, something different from the evil of the original Demon King Piccolo. It's not like Goku is choosing to not defeat the threat in front of him, and if he has to, he will still kill them, like he tries to do with Frieza in the main timeline, or like he successfully does in the future timeline.
Enough about his mercy for now though, because like I said, that'll be for a different video.
Goku's heroics are still numerous even if he isn't going out of his way to kill his enemies like he used to. I'd say that Goku sacrificing himself to save the Earth and his son is extremely heroic. Of course, it comes after the mistake of letting Raditz go, but that's why the sacrifice feels compelling, and why Goku is relatable. He isn't perfect, but he can still do good. He can still be a hero. When fighting Nappa, he once again is doing it for others rather than himself, saying their names with every attack he lands to remind Nappa why this beatdown is happening. It's not for fun, it's for his friends who died and for the Earth. Any enjoyment in the fight comes second to doing what's right. He even wants Vegeta and Nappa to leave, potentially robbing him of a fun fight against Vegeta because protecting the Earth is the priority. Later on Namek, Goku speaks almost like a superhero with how much he cares about doing what's right and fighting for the sake of others. Once he becomes a Super Saiyan, he even tells Frieza that the Saiyans died because they were evil. This is the first time that we hear Goku directly say that evil is a path that leads to assured self-destruction. He may be talking looking like a superhero, but he's also still Goku, and Goku, after being revealed to be a Saiyan, gets even more excitement from fighting, which is often explained by his genetics. Unlike some modern Dragon Ball content though, he often clarifies that this excitement is mixed with another emotion, proving that he cares about far more than just the fight ahead of him. The best example is in the Cell Saga. When asked if he's nervous or excited, he says both. Which is a good balance, because being excited to fight someone strong and being nervous for the fate of the world that you call home are not mutually exclusive. The Cell Saga is when Goku shifts back to being less merciful though, specifically saying that Cell needs to be killed, and that sticks for the rest of the original manga. Speaking of the Cell Saga, this is when Goku has a very mature realization. He won't be around forever. His efforts to train Gohan up to the level of his potential are motivated by his own mortality. Goku had been told of the fate of an Earth without him there to protect it. He came close to facing a permanent end when he got the heart virus, and he realizes that the world needs a protector for when he's gone. It also helps that Gohan is the only one strong enough to kill Cell, of course, but this idea sticks into the Buu saga with Goten and Trunks. He's already dead at that point, so he wants to leave killing Buu to the next generation. Something I've called a failure on his part, but is important to understanding his fairly heroic mindset. Putting the future of Earth above his own desires as a combatant is heroic, even if it ultimately fails to defeat the threat at hand and leads to the Earth getting destroyed. Going back to the Cell Saga though, it's impossible to talk about Goku being a hero without bringing up his sacrifice against Cell. While he was wrong to put Gohan in the position where he's the only one who can save the Earth without telling him, he makes up for his mistake by sacrificing himself and covering up for Gohan's mistake of not finishing Cell while he had the chance. This sacrifice is not done for the thrill of a fight, it was done because there was no other way Goku could save the Earth. There is no denying that this sacrifice, while knowing Earth's Dragon Balls can't revive him anymore and that his friends have no way to get to New Namek currently, is extremely heroic. But I think what solidifies this as a heroic act is what happens after the battle with Cell ends and Gohan is victorious. Goku tells his friends not to try to revive him. He wants to stay dead because Bulma had mentioned to him that threats come to Earth because of him.
And people say this decision was stupid, but is it really?
All the recent threats to Earth directly, like the Saiyans, Mecha Frieza and King Cold, the androids, and Cell are all on Earth specifically to go after Goku. Earth was considered small and worthless, so Raditz, Vegeta, and Nappa would have never gone there, let alone Frieza and King Cold. Goku did destroy the Red Ribbon Army, which was a good thing, but it did lead to a potentially far worse future with people constantly seeking revenge on him and an insane escalation of artificial human technology to compensate. From Goku's perspective, the best thing for the future of the Earth is to leave Gohan as its protector while he moves on into a peaceful afterlife. Of course, Goku does come back in the Buu saga, but initially it's only for his one day on Earth. It's important to remember that as the story was being written, many of its elements weren't actually planned out. So when Goku takes the threat of Buu very seriously at first, he's telling the truth.
Alright, so I do have to talk about how the introduction of Super Saiyan 3 in the Buu saga affects Goku's characterization, because that's what the damn video's about, but I promise I'll keep it brief.
Super Saiyan 3's introduction makes Goku a retroactive liar, being able to easily stop Majin Vegeta and by extension Buu's resurrection entirely. But this is covered up, though not perfectly or well like I've argued recently in a video, by Goku's uncertainty regarding the amount of time he'd have as a Super Saiyan 3. This also doesn't excuse him not killing Buu when he had the chance though, and for me, it makes me dislike Goku's characterization in the middle of this arc. The striking difference between his willingness to sideline the tournament in favor of handling the threat and saying he won't hold back are undercut by the reveal of an ultimately pretty useless transformation.
Okay, now no more Super Saiyan 3 trash talk for a little while, I promise.
Goku is still decently mature and heroic even after Super Saiyan 3's reveal though. He still understands that his time on Earth is fleeting, and he needs to do everything that he can to make sure the next generation is in a position to take over. Once he's back in the afterlife and he finds out Gohan is still alive, he supervises his son's training until it's time for him to return to protect the Earth. Ultimately, despite his best efforts to avoid it, Goku has to return to life to help finish off Buu once and for all. But now he understands that great threats to the Earth are not solely caused by him. His reasoning for staying dead no longer makes sense, so he can teach the next generation by being there to do so directly. He even has something to look forward to, a new defender of Earth and a true successor in the form of Oob.
Before we get to that though, I think we can all agree that Goku in the original series and Goku in Dragon Ball Super are written at least a little bit differently.
Even in his best moments, Dragon Ball Super Goku often has this focus on his own excitement and enjoyment of a fight as the priority, while in the original series, it would often be the secondary motivator. Because of this, it's hard to analyze his heroics in comparison to the original manga because his context is just different. Though I will say, he still has some level of maturity in crucial situations, like taking the threat of Zamasu and Goku Black seriously. Goku was ready to blow off Zamasu's head if he didn't forget he was immortal, or in the manga, he tries to Hakai merge Zamasu with a risky, untested technique. He's not trying to keep them around for a good fight, he's trying to eliminate them because they're the threat in front of him. He's even extremely mature, and I'd argue actually heroic, when understanding that characters like Broly and Granola are being manipulated, and they shouldn't fight if they're doing so under false pretenses, even though it's at the cost of his own enjoyment. He does love to fight and have fun, seemingly more than any other version of Goku, yet he still tries to do the right thing and give these foes a chance to step away from an unnecessary conflict. When it came to Moro, Goku took up the responsibility of taking him down and protecting the universe, even if he'd prefer that Moro just return to prison, to maybe train, to maybe change his ways. Regardless of what he wants though, in the end, Goku is still the one to deliver the finishing blow to protect everything and everyone. Not to mention him being proud of Gohan for mastering the Beast form recently in the DBS manga, allowing Goku to rest easy, knowing that the next generation can protect Earth when he finally does pass on.
I would go deeper on Dragon Ball Super's version of Goku, but considering the fact that there are two continuities and it was made in an entirely different context, I feel like it would actually deserve its own video.
I do think that Goku is still a hero in modern Dragon Ball stories though, even if I find the way he's written sometimes to be questionable. Which leaves us with Oob, the character that's a culmination of Goku's desires and responsibilities. I like to think of Oob as Goku's reward. This works as a good endpoint for Goku's journey and the original story because Oob fulfills both Goku's responsibilities to protecting the Earth as well as his more selfish desires to have an enjoyable fight with no threat attached.
When the moment comes and he needs to protect the Earth, his family, his friends, or even the whole universe, he'll be there to do it. And to me, that makes him a hero. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and thank you so very much for watching.